Welcome to The Source, where we combine the headlines with in-depth conversations with the newsmakers themselves. I'm Pinky Webb. Today on the program, Senators unite in expressing their disappointment over the health department's failure to give promised benefits to health workers amid the COVID-19 fight. Also, challenges continue to hound the government's efforts to boost the country's coronavirus testing capacity. And later, the hashtag Junk Terror Bill dominated social media as lawmakers passed the controversial anti-terrorism bill. We also get his thoughts on the suspension of the VFA termination process with the United States. Senator Richard Dick Gordon joins us live. Senators slammed the health department for not compensating health workers who were infected by COVID-19. The Bayanihan law mandates a 100,000 peso compensation for health workers who contract severe COVID-19 and 1 million pesos for those who died from the virus. Senate President Tito Sotto sent a letter to Health Secretary Francisco Duque urging him to implement the law's provision immediately. Let's go straight to the source of the story. We have Senator Richard Dick Gordon. Senator, welcome to the show, and again, thank you for your time.
Hello, Pinky. Good morning to everyone. I'm sorry we can't connect by Zoom, but I guess phone pass is okay. Hello?
That's fine. Senator, health workers who... Yes, Senator, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. Go ahead.
Senator Gordon, can you hear me?
Yes,
all right,
I can hear you.
Health workers who, number one, unfortunately died. There are about 32 of them, Senator,
32.
or those who were critically infected, were not given the compensation that was actually stipulated in the Bayanihan law. Senator, ano po nangyari?
Well, hinihintay pa ni Secretary Duque. I don't think it's his fault, pero implementing rules and regulations, dapat matapos yan. Sa akin, hindi na kailangan yung implementing rules and regulations. I spoke to him. Sabi ko, ibigay mo na lang. Hard and fast naman yun. Very clear. Pag namatay, bibigyan nyo na lang bigyan nyo lang ng report. You know, sometimes in this country, we're overly bookish. Masyado tayo nag-iingat. Kailangan bayaran kaagad yung mga tao na namatay sapagkat siya ng batas at yung mga nagkasakit, mabayaran. There are two of them that are severely in hospital right now. And the health workers are about 2,606
So what did he say,
positive.
Senator?
Yes. Hello?
Opo, that's right. Anong sinabi niya, sir, nung sinabi niyo na ibigay na po yung pera doon sa mga, pamilya nung namatay and those critically infected?
He agreed because sabi ko, inexcusable yung hindi nabibigay yung pera at dapat sabihan yan kung sino natatakot dyan, sabihan para i-release na yung mga pera doon sa mga tao na matayan. Gagawin niya raw.
Does that okay, so you don't think may problema na po dito?
I don't think there will be a problem. It's
Wala
just
na
a
po itong
question of
problema.
really
This is solved.
nudging. There's so many bureaucrats in this country, and that's one of the reasons why, when it's slow, usually there's a bureaucrat right there that is trying to hold the fort and trying to be safe rather than serve the country. The primordial rule is that you serve the people first before you start throwing us rules and regulations. As far as I'm concerned.
But I guess, Senator, what I don't understand is that, Senator, what I don't seem to understand is that this Bayanihan law is about to end. In fact, I think it's passed on second reading, this new Bayanihan law. I mean, if it was stipulated in the first one and then it's about to end, you're actually going on the second one. Why not be able to do or implement what was supposed to be part of the first law?
Well, there are many things that are being unimplemented, no? They're not implemented, and therefore it behooves us, and that's why when I interpolated, I said, up to now, this has not been implemented, and so I called up Secretary Duque why it was not being implemented, and according to him, implementing rules and regulations. Why am I not surprised, Pinky? I passed a law,
Yeah.
the authorship of the motorcycle crimes prevention law, and that was about a year and 2 months ago. And when I started threatening that I would put them on under investigation, that's the only time they released it. And guess what? Horror of horrors, they still have not manufactured the plates. So that's a problem.
All right. So there's the new Bayanihan law, though, no, Senator, that I think is
Yes,
passed on second reading at the
right.
Senate, sir.
Yes.
Tell us more about this. What kind of changes, could there be any changes that we can expect from this new law?
Well, it promise a package of 140 billion pesos, and most of it, for example, will go 50 billion capital infusion for government financial institutions like Land Bank, 30 billion, Development Bank, 15 billion for loans, no, and Philippine Guarantee Corporations for credit guarantees, especially to farmers. 17 billion for agricultural credit policy, council for plant program, and then you will have 17 billion to fund unemployment, involuntary separation assistance for displaced workers, including freelancers and repatriated OFWs. 15 billion for cash for work program under TUPAD. Magaling ang programa yan. 10 billion for procurement of PCR, testing supplies, like we have in the Red Cross, no? And then 10 billion for DOT programs to assist tourism industry, 3 billion for development of smart campuses and of state universities, and 1 billion for TESDA scholarship programs, and finally for DOTR programs to assist the transportation industry, development of accessible sidewalks, protected bicycle lanes, procurement of bicycles, safety equipment for bike distribution, etc. Those are the highlights.
It sounds good, Senator.
It does sound good, but the proof of the pudding is in the implementation. Speed is the name of the game, and if we
Exactly.
don't implement it properly, then people have a difficult time. But upon the other hand, the underlying purpose of government is to encourage people to help themselves right away. Even in COVID, people should learn to protect themselves and not just hunker down, learn a new skill. For example, I spoke with a lot of Hong Kong repatriates, and I can tell you they speak very, very good English. I'm sure they can get jobs in what we call BPOs, or for that matter, they can learn Chinese food and serve that bed and breakfast and stuff like that. Delivery by way of bicycles or by motorcycles. You can do an awful lot of things. For those who are not doing, idleness is a devil's workshop. So you'd rather make sure that everybody is on board. The other thing that I'd like to see is education on television. And that's important, that we don't miss a step in terms of educating our people.
Yeah, I think that's in the works, Senator, because they're looking at IBC 13. I wanted to ask you, though, first about the contact tracers. Was there anything in the new Bayanihan law that puts some sort of budget for contact tracers? We are already told, it's been reported that we need about 130,000 contact tracers.
Well, contact tracers will mean, I don't know how they intend to implement it. I had some suggestions. For example, when you test, no, and right now we're only testing mostly OFWs, no, and a few local governments are giving us test samples to test. Remember, the objective is to hit Manila, get 13% of Manila according to the World Health Organization, and we're only at about 2% right now. So if you are going to have testing, you have to test them, and anybody who turns positive, you trace right away the members of his family. The positive guy, if he has to be quarantined, you have to take care of the family, watch over them to find out whether they had picked up the disease. And of course, a lot of testing in the congested areas, and you can track down the map and see where there's a lot of COVID. So you test in that area, so you drain the swamp literally, and make sure that you keep doing it until you're able to achieve the levels that will make us comfortable that the COVID is dissipating. That is why in the rest of the country, we still have to test in Central Luzon, a lot of other places. I want you to know that Red Cross has acquired all the machines, and the laboratories are built already. We're adding in Manila. We have right now capacity for 12,000 tests a day, but we will add in the next couple of weeks. We should be able max, max. We should be able to have 22,000 tests a day. We already have Subic. They're already going to test today or tomorrow, which means they will test the laboratory for proficiency. Clark is also going to be tested. Batangas will have 4,000 tests a day. Laguna will have 2,000 to 4,000 tests a day. Cebu is almost finished. That will have 4,000 tests a day. Bacolod will have 2,000 tests. Zamboanga 2,000. And down the line is Cagayan de Oro, Surigao, and Isabela. Total, we will have 46,000 tests a day. Now, in Metro Manila, if you test 1.7 million, which is 13% of the population, we can do that. If we test 22,000 tests a day, we can have it in 80 days. We will be able to achieve the goal in Metro Manila. In the case of the Philippines, you would have to test 46,000 tests a day, or 310 days, or almost about a year practically before you achieve the whole country. So the solution that I'm proposing...
Let me clarify.
Yes. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Senator. The solution you are proposing?
Is the solution I'm proposing is that the local governments, through the DILG, push their constituents, particularly in crowded areas, congested areas, and where COVID has been there, to force test the folks out there, because you don't have to wait until they have symptoms. These are the candidates easily for COVID, no? So it's important that we do that, and that we must. In fact, the Red Cross has come out with in Manila with certain percentage targets for, let's say, in Quezon City, we target 350,000, and we have a list of that I gave the other day to the Congress, and we can have places like Mandaluyong. Would have a target of, actually Mandaluyong has already achieved its target of 13%. And kudos to the mayor of Mandaluyong, Menchi Abalos, because they have already achieved 13%. Right? They have already had tested 6,706. San Juan is 6%, Navotas is 6%, Materos is 5%. This is just from the Red Cross. I don't know what the government has. Makati has tested 4%. Pasay has tested 3%. Las Piñas 2%. Parañaque 2%. Caloocan 1%. Valenzuela 1%. And Taguig 1%. And Quezon City has really has their work cut out for them. They have tested so far 1,553, and their target should be in the area of 13%, 381,000. Manila has also got a lot of work to do. 231,000 tests must be achieved. Marikina has 58,000 target, and they have not achieved 1% or 2%. And I'm not criticizing. It's just a matter of really being conscious of the fact that you have to separate the positive people from the negative from the population, so that the virus cannot find host to attack.
Yeah. In other words, para hindi po makahanap o makalipat from one host to another. We need to take a very short break. We'll be back with Senator Dick Gordon after.
Thank you.
You're watching The Source on CNN Philippines. I'm Pinky Webb. Our guest today, Senator Dick Gordon. Senator, I want to be clear on this. We have to separate the tests. of the Philippine Red Cross, on a daily basis, how many actual tests is being conducted by the Red Cross?
We had a high of 8,000 about a week and a half ago, but it's now down to 2,000 tests a day, principally because we had finished all the
Mhm.
OFWs, about 41,000 of them. The swabbing was conducted by the Coast Guard. It wasn't pretty, but we were able to do that. We discovered 1,240 positive from the PCG OFW tested folks.
So, Senator, parang sayang ho yung inyong capacity if you reached a high of about 8,000 and you're just doing 2,000 tests a day now. Where what can, for example, local governments do? Pwede ho bang magpadala sila sa Red Cross? At kasi sinasabi nga ng Red Cross, we are at a low in terms of testing and our capacity can still accept more.
Yes, the deal with the local governments is that they will do the swabbing. That's why we have to have a contract. We provide them with the swab kits and the need to fill up the encoded form. And then once they swab, then it will be delivered to the Red Cross so that we can easily test them. Could be a mistake. That is the problem. It's always a nightmare when there's a mistake because we have to look for them and we cannot even find out readily. It takes about a week. So yung client information system is not encoded, it's written, it's misspelled, there are wrong barcodes attached because they're
Mm,
given barcodes. Sometimes one barcode is attached to one man, but they give the same barcode to four other people. So it's a nightmare. Now we've
okay.
improved that now. We're improving it this week. So much so that I'm requiring kung mga OFWs o mga tao, they should have their ID para nakatype na yan so we can look for it, and passports. I've had a meeting with immigration and other agencies of the government, including General Galvez and Vince Dizon and others. Bureau of Immigration has agreed to swipe the passport and send it to the Red Cross as well, so we can find out right away if there's a missing name on that particular day that the swabbing was done.
Yesterday, Senator, we reached 20,000 cases. There were 751 recorded new cases, 221 were fresh, sir, and 530 were late. Is this something that you are alarmed over, Senator, or sa palagay nyo, this is really the gradual or correct, siguro infections, hindi naman correct, but ganito ho ba talaga yung direction that you are expecting to see in terms of number of COVID-19 cases?
We cannot rest until we've tested the required population that WHO requires. That is the science. No? You can see America, which is the greatest nation in the world in terms of scientific capability, their death toll keeps rising. Spain and Italy, they have had to wrestle with this for a long while. But they did it by, again, lockdowns and by testing. And it's important, therefore, that we continue to test.
Mm-mm.
If we don't test, then we'll be in, I guess, bigger danger.
Mhm. Contact tracing, obviously, again, sir, as we mentioned a while ago, very important. I believe that in the Red Cross, you have a new app, I think, sir. It's a new platform developed by Dashboard PH for PCR testing centers. Can you tell us more about this?
Uh, well, what we're doing right now is, again, we're lessening the information requirements made by RITM. We're requiring encoding by typewriter, and we're making sure that we can readily
Okay.
identify all of them. We're simplifying the process and making sure that more scrutiny of the encoded documents are done, not only by Coast Guard. We're retraining the Coast Guard. We want them retrained. And then also we want to know where they were tested, because once you lose it, you have to look for which hotel they were in. And besides, as a Filipino, I'm alarmed. I'm stupefied. Nagagalit ako dahil bakit tumatagal ng isa, dalawang buwan yung mga taong dumadating galing sa OFW. Tapos pag na-test sila, halimbawa, mayroon kaming testing, at test sila ng May 5, April pa sila dumating, darating sa amin yung swab ng April 14. Practically useless na yan. So kailangan ang rule namin ngayon, within 3 days,
Yeah.
it must arrive, and if it goes beyond that, we won't accept.
And what was the reason they gave you, Senator? Why did it take that long to be able to turn over the tests to the Red Cross? Bakit ho nagtagal ng ganon?
Yesterday, I had a resolution commending the Coast Guard personnel because they are really exposing themselves now. But upon the other hand, they're being expected to do yeoman's work, severe work, because they have to write down. And sometimes some of them will get lazy and allow the client to write it down. And you know, when you arrive at an airport, you're tired. You're not going to be able to do that. One of the things that we're
Yeah.
doing to change that is this new testing requirement of the Red Cross will be sent by iPhone. They can fill it up from their iPhones or their iPads while they're still abroad or in the airline when they're flying. So when they come
Okay.
in, it's easily done. So it will just be transmitted and exported to the computers of the Red Cross.
All right, we need to take another break. We'll be right back. Welcome back to The Source. Senator Gordon, there are still two topics I need to discuss with you, but very briefly, I'm going to start with the VFA. The abrogation of the VFA has been suspended, and you called this decision by the President timely. Tell us more about this, sir. What can we expect?
Well, I'm relieved. I'm relieved that now we're considering renewing the VFA because we need an ally here. We cannot put our eggs in one basket. That's really much of fault on our part. If we say we're pivoting towards China, then China on the outward says they're for our friends, and yet they drive away our fishermen, they warn our planes, our coast guard from getting into their waters. And then even Japan is having problems with them, Indonesia, all the other countries. So we need to balance it off. Now, in the 60s, there was called mutually assured destruction. Man, that was a policy that prevented nuclear war. So now you can see China is rearming. America is now pivoting in terms of military bases, additions in Japan.
Mhm.
I don't think we'll have a military base here, but it is well and good that we can have the umbrella of the of America to support us because they're so near us, and we really have to have an umbrella of support that is not covered by the UFA, that is covered under the Mutual Defense Pact. So by talking with our friends, we can adapt as the challenges come. Hindi tayo manguunahan. Kaya importante na mag-usap palagi at gamitin ko mga
Mhm.
practices na ito at ma-improve yung mga gamit ng ating mga sundalo.
Second issue, Senator Gordon, the anti-terror bill. Two things on this. First is the timing. I know this was passed by the Senate in February, but recently the President certified this as urgent and passed at the lower house. The question about this is why now? People are asking when government should be concentrating on the pandemic, on the health of the Filipino people, and of course, jumpstarting the economy.
You know, I think that's a very weak argument to say why now. You either need it or you don't. If you don't need it, don't do it. Now, obviously, the Congress feels that we need it because there are many atrocities being committed by certain enemies of the state, and they want more teeth into it. You cannot use COVID as an excuse for not passing the terrorism bill. In the same manner that some people are saying you cannot use the COVID for saying we should not implement why implement the motorcycle plate law. I think that's a very weak. It shows the weakness of the argument. But on the other hand, the important thing against terrorism law is to maintain our civil liberties. We have to have our lawyers organized and prepared to come out and make sure that it is not abused. You know, that is why, Pinky, I hope you'll pardon me. I keep referring to the motorcycles because, for example, in the last so many years, there have been almost 35,000 people killed by motorcycle folks riding in tandem. Just last year, 1,234 people were killed riding in tandem, not to mention those who were wounded in the shooting. Or,
Mm-mm.
you cannot have a society that is not safe. In the same manner, you cannot have a society that is not safe from motorcycles or from terrorists or for that matter from COVID.
All right, Senator Richard Gordon, sir, unfortunately, we've run out of time. But thank you, sir, for joining me on the show. Maraming salamat, Senator.
One time, Pinky, I hope it was helpful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And thank you for joining us here on The Source. I'm Pinky Webb. You're watching CNN Philippines.